I'm glad my alarm went off this time. I'd hate to be late to Ponyville for work again. You said it. I felt terrible getting on the train without you. Whoa, hey, back off! Don't you have anywhere better to be on a Tuesday morning other than walking home from the bar? Hey, learn to handle your cider, man. If we weren't in a hurry, we'd have the guards on your ass. You hear that? You're lucky we don't have you arrested for assault.
So, that's it? I am afraid so, my love. I'm so sorry that I have been the one to share this news with you. So they're just infected? Both of the royal sisters. And Cadence. That's okay. That's fine. That's okay. We'll go in there and I'll contain them. I'll find a way to talk to them. My dear, you cannot talk to them. What? They're too far gone. No. We don't know much about this infection, virus, whatever yet. I can figure something out. Sweetheart, Twilight, I've done all that I can to rule out a way of saving them. I don't wish to sound stern, I promise you, but they are gone. Their brains have permanently changed. There won't be any way of getting through to them. Then, let me see that for myself. Even if you're right, I can still find a way to contain them before I learn how to fix this for good. On our way here, whenever we encountered infected ponies, I used a spell to contain them in magic bubbles that pop when we're far away enough from them, to avoid hurting any pony who's sick. Or I could use something stronger, like the stone sleep spell. Consider, too, that all of the princesses, being alicorns, might not be as easy for you to contain as regular ponies. You would be wise to take the precaution that your spell might not work on them. I understand you do not want to imagine a scenario where you would, but I implore you to have a plan B if you can't subdue the princesses safely. I know. I have the elements and my magic, but it won't come to that. How did it happen? As you're aware, after yourself and your brother magically contained Princess Cadence after the incident involving Discord and Sombra, Princesses Celestia and Luna arrived at the Crystal Empire to aid you. They soon ordered you and your friends to return home to Ponyville. From there on in, every nurse in the Empire was called into the castle and put under clear orders not to mention a whisper to the public of what was really going on, and to spend every second forward running tests and studying the now contained and unconscious Princess Cadence. I was brought in to study the magical side of her symptoms. I was alerted at about 1 a.m. that Princess Cadence had awoken from the anesthetic she had been put under and had lashed out towards one of the surrounding nurses. The nurse in question was then quarantined and Princess Cadence was once again put under, but this time, rather than through physical anesthetic, put under a sleep spell, cast by Celestia herself. This is where I fear the outbreak truly started. Once we were certain that everything was once again under control, we all got back to work once again to diagnose what was wrong with Princess Cadence. Shining Armor, the poor dear, he didn't want to let her out of his sight. It was so hard for him. He was consistently moving between comforting his sweet daughter and watching over his poor wife. Everything continued somewhat smoothly, with no trouble from the princess or any pony else for a good few hours, until roughly 6:30 a.m, when, out of the blue, 5 or 6 of the guards managed to pour into the room from outside, each of them infected. They took us completely by surprise.
But if the infection came from Princess Cadence, where did they come from?
The nurse that got bitten. It could have been the nurse. She could have managed to get out of her quarantine. Or perhaps the nurse infected some pony else beforehand. Perhaps that pony didn't tell and fled home, only to bite a loved one. I had hoped the infection was contained here within the Crystal Empire. But as you girls had taken so long, I did presume the infection had somehow reached farther across Equestria. But how did it happen so quickly? Ponyville was already full of infected ponies by 11 the next morning. 6 hours for it to reach Ponyville. I'm afraid I can only explain as much as I know, my child. And the sun and moon, they stopped moving the morning after Ponyville was fully taken over. Why didn't Princess Celestia contact us during all of that time? If the Empire was already infected before Ponyville, which was infected only 6 hours later, why did it take Celestia a whole extra day and night after the initial infection of Cadence to contact me? When the infected guards stormed the castle, Princess Luna was one of the unfortunate ponies to have been bitten during that wave. Princess Celestia magically bubbled every one of the infected in the room and rushed to help her sister. Shining Armor returned quickly to the room we were in, with Flurry Heart. Celestia was quick to quarantine Luna with her magic, and ordered myself and Shining Armor to safely contain the infected ponies outside in the Empire. King Sombra's leftover crystal mounds from when he had attacked not but a day before immediately let us know how we could stop the infected. We realized that sealing the infected ponies inside of crystal barriers or inside of their houses was our easiest and most convenient shot to slow down the infected, despite the damage it would cause to the city. We collected as many survivors off the streets as we could, while Princess Celestia carefully tended to her sister. It doesn't sound like much when you're trying to quickly and clearly tell a story, but it was a full day's work. We took survivors to the train station, but with our train having already left for the morning, the survivors were forced to evacuate on hoof, set with warmth spells to get them through the harsh frozen north. We sealed more infected inside their crystal prisons. We returned to the castle throughout the day, expecting the same rapid changes in Princess Luna that we had seen in the other ponies of the Crystal Empire. But to every pony's surprise, rather than that, she simply got weaker over the hours. I'm sorry, my dear. I presume Celestia would have contacted you in that time. Perhaps she was too focused on the matter at Hoof. So, Luna didn't turn quickly? But every pony else did? We've seen a lot of infected ponies, but we're yet to see a pony change in real time. How long does it usually take for a regular pony? For a regular pony, roughly an hour and a half. I'd estimate 10 hours or so before Princess Luna changed. It wasn't easy to watch. She became frailer and frailer from the point of being bitten onwards. Celestia wouldn't even look at us when she spoke, as she was so focused on her sister's health. She tried every spell she knew. I gave her every spell I knew regarding anything like this. The remaining nurses researched all that they could, every spell, any remedy, any book in the library. She called in reinforcements from the Canterlot Guard with their best doctors in tow. She looked into harnessing power from the Crystal Heart, too. She tried to summon discord. But not me. Not the elements of harmony. I'm sure she meant to, darling. Even princesses can crack under immense pressure.
What about Sunburst?
Yes. Sunburst. Yes, he was one of the ponies on staff to help with the research on Princess Cadence and later Princess Luna. He evacuated the Crystal Empire, I believe, to check on his mother. That's a relief, I think.
Can we listen to the story in order, please? I don't want to get confused.
Right, yes. Well, Princess Celestia tended to Princess Luna. When we had completed our duties outside, evacuating ponies to cross the frozen north, Shining Armor and I returned to the castle at roughly 8 p.m. Celestia had resurrected a large force field around herself and another separating Luna. If Luna had seemed weak when we had seen her before, she certainly wasn't showing it now. She pounded on Celestia's force field, scraping at the walls to get to her sister. The light in her eyes had completely faded, and Celestia's bite was as clear as day. Despite the weakness in her stature, she was frantic.
Shining armor, Mistmane, I'm ordering you as your princess. Take Flurry Heart, get out of the Crystal Empire. Find Twilight and her friends.
We protested. We told her we would stay, but she demanded we leave. It was terrible to look into her eyes in that moment. It was hard to know if she was certain of her words. She told us to leave, to warn the other kingdoms, and that she would contact you before it was too late. Shining Armor and I continued to protest, telling her that we would remain loyal and help her no matter what, that we couldn't just stand idly by or retreat. But before we could protest any more, we found ourselves teleported to the edge of the Empire, where we could do nothing but watch as she expanded her force field around the entirety of the castle. I think she knew that she wouldn't last long, and in turn neither would her force field, because I don't think that she'd keep the Crystal Heart and Patient Zero of the outbreak somewhere where they couldn't be accessed. We evacuated the final remaining ponies, including your unicorn friend. Shining Armor left for Ponyville with his daughter, via Canterlot. I chose to stay behind to make sure that no pony left the Empire, and to greet you if you were to return. The force field over the castle fizzled out as the sun failed to rise completely the next morning. In my wait, I have been back and forth between the border and the city, and have studied the infected ponies sealed within their crystal prisons. I've seen glimpses of the princesses, too. Sometimes one of them will wander onto the balcony. I do not have hope that they are lucid, and I fear that no regular old pony who enters that castle will come out alive. However, Twilight Sparkle, you are no regular pony, and neither am I. So if you really do wish to go inside, I will ask that you allow me to accompany you. 2 horns are better than 1 after all, and I couldn't in good conscience let you embark on this mission alone.
Oh, she won't be alone.
Actually, I wanted to give you 3 the option to stay here. Whatever do you mean, darling? Just lounge around while you risk your life? I understand that it's okay to ask for help. I trust you all, and I know you'll stand by me. However, I'd still like to give you 3 the option not to come. I know we're in this together. The magic of friendship is stronger together, but you're not pillars of Equestria or alicorns.
The magic of friendship is stronger together, and we'll be there. Of course we're coming with you, silly!
Thank you for the generous offer, darling, but we're going to have to decline. We promise to stand by you no matter what. All right. Well, there's no time like the present. Let's get to planning.